What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Bird Dog MMA, the only place where you'll find a bet on every single fight. We are degenerates over here, but we're doing $50 units. All right? If you want to see the entire script, just go to my Patreon at Bird Dog MMA. We've been on a tear lately. This summer we've been killing it. June, we are up multiple units. July, we are up multiple units. And August, we are up 8 units until UFC China. That was brutal. We took a little bit of a lick in there. I think most people did. I don't think many people saw that Johnny Walker play there. That would have been huge if we did. Honestly, it was one of those fights where it's like, why waste a ton of time watching film on Johnny Walker when we've seen him get comically sent to the shadow realm on multiple occasions? You just couldn't trust it. So I'm not super upset about that because looking back on it, if you were to play Johnny Walker, either you're an absolute genius or you saw that value and just blindly bet, which we don't do over here. All right, we don't blind bet every single fight that I'm playing. I've watched hours of film on, not hours each fight, but I've spent, I probably spend, 6 to 8 hours throughout the week leading up to it watching film over multiple days. And we try to get it out by Wednesday. So if you see us playing something, we have researched it. I don't think many people are watching me watch the film in the amount I do. So let's get right to it. First fight, we got Sean Bannon versus Sam Hughes. Absolute barn burner. I cannot wait for this. I'm going to be right glued to my couch for this one. We are going over 2.5. All right, I cannot wait for that. All right, then we got Andreas Gustafsson versus Renat Fakhretdinov. All right, Gustafsson, I know Bane. I know he's very gritty. I know he's great at marching people down, throwing overhands until he gets into the clinch, where that's his bread and butter. His stand-up, though, is subpar. When he can't control where the fight goes, he tends to get somewhat exposed on the feet. He can get back to his feet when the takedown, when taken down. He does have pretty good get-ups, but he has bad takedown defense, meaning he's not very good at preventing the fight from going to the ground. In the clinch, he has vicious knees. He's very gritty, tough. Fakhretdinov has better wrestling, though. I think he's more explosive with his takedowns, and he will shoot those takedowns. And he's much better in the stand-up. His cardio isn't the best, but he has dug deep versus Carlos Leal. You saw him. He'll keep fighting. He's one of those guys that, even though he's tired, he will keep fighting. So I do like Fakhretdinov here for that reason. I think Gustafsson really relies on being in the clinch and winning that way. And if he can't keep Gustafsson in the clinch, I'm sorry, Fakhretdinov in the clinch where he wants it, I think he tends to get exposed if the fight stays in the center of the octagon, right? And every fight, even against Chaos Williams, you'll see that he's not necessarily good at holding people up against the cage. He's good at getting in the clinch and doing his work against the cage. But even somebody like Chaos Williams, who's not known for his grappling, was able to reverse the position and get him against the cage. And then, Gustafsson will reverse it again. And they almost were going on a merry-go-round. And that's not a grappler. So I think if you try to do that against Fakhretdinov, I know I'm like on an island here. I'm one of the only people that is seeing what I'm seeing. I think Fakhretdinov is a good enough grappler to not get pushed up against the cage, because we got to keep in mind Gustafsson isn't really a wrestler. He's a grappler who likes cage control, and I think he's going to be able to get out of that clinch and honestly piece him up on the feet. If he's not in the clinch, how does Gustafsson beat him? I know he's on a tear right now and a lot of people are feeling him, but how many times have we seen everybody's on an underdog and they get killed? So I am going Fakhretdinov, and if you want to see my official play, again, it's on Patreon. Then we got Brad Tavares versus Robert Breezechek. I think Breezechek is a very bread and butter striker. He doesn't have a ton of sub wins, which is how you can beat Brad without elite striking. He slows down after 1.5 rounds, and he does stick to his boxing. He doesn't really have the footwork that allows him to cut off the cage or get inside, though. Tavares is a very good kickboxer. He has powerful leg kicks. He's in and out on the feet. He has a great chin and can take one and give one. He has elite, and I say elite, takedown defense, which he probably won't need here. I like Tavares. He's kind of low output in his kickboxing, but I don't think Breezechek is enough of a threat on the feet to do anything to Tavares, who's notoriously known for his chin, his takedown defense. I think this is a easy Brad Tavares decision. So I'll give you a little freebie there. I do like Brad Tavares by decision there. Then we have Sam Patterson versus Trey Waters. This is another fight where I feel like I'm on an island here. Waters is very good at staying heavy on, like he stays heavy on his front foot, which is allows him to pull his head back, so it looks like he's closer to you than he is. So he stays heavy on that front foot, and then he pulls the head out of range when needed, right? So he's good at controlling the range. And Waters has a decent get up game when taken down. Both fighters are long. This will be Patterson's first time he's fighting a long, rangy striker as well. They're almost the same height. I think actually Trey is a little taller than him. Patterson does have great ground game. We know that, elite jiu-jitsu, but most of his takedowns aren't shots. They're snap downs or like backdrops from being the longer man, right? Back trips, I mean. So if Waters can get back on his feet without giving his back, or even if he does give his back to get up and scrambles, like I've been in the wrestling world for a little bit and well, a lot of it, and what we like to say is getting up is an attitude, right? So if you're on bottom, a lot of getting up is how bad do you want to get up. So if Trey Waters can use his scrambling and just have the attitude like I want to get up, I'm not letting this fight settle here, and get back to his feet. I think he's a much better striker than uh, Sam Patterson, and I think if it's on the feet, he has a field day with him. So I am taking the underdog at plus 136. I love this play. Another freebie I'll give you. I'm going straight money line on Trey Waters. Most of Patterson's submissions seem like the opponents don't know how to defend them, and they're kind of, a fish out of water. So I do like him at underdog odds. I'm going Trey Waters, and, whatever happens, happens. Then we have Marcin Tybura versus Ante Daliha. Daliha is a good grappler. He's usually cornered by Mirko Krokot, which is a good sign. But I don't understand. My red flag is how he had trouble at all with Maurice Green. He seems much faster in striking exchanges than Tybura. He can randomly get very low output, like he did against Maurice Green with his strikes. When he can't, and this usually happens when he can't get on the inside for his flurry of punches, right? So this is kind of a tough read. I'm gonna go light on it. I do like the Tybura side just because he's a veteran. We've seen what happens with these newcomers, right, from outside organizations. I'd rather lose having Tybura than lose having Ante Dalia, somebody who hasn't necessarily fought somebody at Marcin's skill level. Marcin is a perennial gatekeeper for a reason. He's been ranked for years for a reason. Dalia looks like he's more washed up, even though he's 4 years younger. Tybura is almost 40, or he might be 40 at this time, and Dalia is 35. They're both good grapplers, and Tybura's chin is concerning, so I'm going to keep this light. We're going to protect ourselves through bankroll management, because it is a tough read. But yeah, I'm going to go on Tybura's side just because I'd rather have that side, like the proven fighter, and we're going to go Tybura. He is a sneaky grappler. Then we have Omar Sy versus Brinson Ribeiro. Ribeiro's knocking him out, and Rhett's like, nah, I'm just kidding. Sy is a very good striker, but it comes with a catch, right? He isn't necessarily a counter striker, and his hand speed isn't the fastest. If you watch tape on his hand speed, it's actually pretty slow. My hot take is that him and Ribeiro are closer than these odds indicate. I think they're actually damn near equals, if you ask me. Because Sy he's new to the game. He has 1.5 round cardio. He loses pop on punches after the first round. You saw that versus Da Woon Jung. He's very technical. You could tell he's trained very well, and he has a lot of power, and he is fun to watch. If you were to watch him and you're new to the sport, you're going to say, wow, this guy is amazing, right? So that's the catch. But he doesn't seem like he goes out there and uses his technique to really put people out. But the thing is, he is fighting in his home country. You can tell the UFC is trying to set him up with a knockout by giving him Ribeiro, somebody who comes at somebody with their chin in the air. But Ribeiro does have power. I think Ribeiro has a chance to KO Sy. Honestly, that's my hot take. I would go decision no bet on Ribeiro, but he tends to rush into exchanges with his chin in the air and his elbows back like a raptor, which is concerning, so he could easily get clipped and you lose the bet completely. I think Sy will come with a grappling heavy approach here, honestly. I do, because after his loss to Menafield as a minus 700 favorite, I think he is going to learn from that and say, you know what, I do have grappling in my back pocket, and I lost that fight trying to be cute, stay on the outside, try to, go for highlight reels, because that's what the UFC wants lately. So he lost that fight because he couldn't really touch him. And what's the best way to touch somebody? You grapple him, you wrestle him. And he does have subs under his belt. So I like Omar Sy. I do like that side, but because of the odds, I think I might lean towards something involving a sub, but again, the official bet will be on Patreon. Let's move on. All right, let's move on. We got William Gomes. This is my most confident play on the card versus Robert Ruchala. I watched a bunch of Ruchala tape. He's tough. I like him. He's a really tough fighter. He's an explosive striker, but he is a bit erratic. Ruchala has decent scrambles on the mat, but I don't think enough to counter Gomes and his grappling ability. Gomes is calculated on the feet. He has great wrestling where you can burn the clock, where he can burn the clock in dominant positions. He's good with his distance management on the feet. I think Gomes can take the fight to the mat whenever Ruchala gets into range, which he likes to do. He likes to get into the pocket and get in range before throwing strikes. And I I think he's going to be able to do that. Ruchala likes spinning stuff, spinning back elbows, stuff like that, which can lead to takedowns, which Gomes does very well with. I like Gomes. I do like his straight up money line. I think it's an accurate depiction. I think he should be more of a favorite, honestly. I'm very confident on him. So, yeah, I like Gomes to win in a slow paced, grindy type fight. Then we got Reese McKee versus Axel Sola, my dog of the week. Even though he's not a major dog, I was surprised when I saw that Reese McKee was a dog, honestly. Unless I'm missing something, Sola is extremely heavy on the front foot. He doesn't have great head movement. In some fights, he gets tagged with jabs, almost as if he can't see the jab coming. He just gets his head spun back with that jab every single time. I've seen him get clipped at the lower level and be able to eat it. So he is a tough guy, and he's pretty well rounded. And he can go 5 rounds. If you look up his share dog, a lot of his finishes come in round 3, round 4, where he kind of just melts guys. He can get taken down a lot though, but he's good at getting back to his feet. Most of his knockouts though, he doesn't necessarily have power. They're like avalanche knockouts where he swarms his opponent, overwhelms him, gets him up against the cage, and the ref stops it. He doesn't necessarily have the power where he's putting people out unconscious. And my thing is, McKee has a 3-inch height advantage, and he does know how to use it, so he fights very long. He looks a bit more explosive as well and smoother on the feet, probably because he's from Ireland. It's like, no, I'm just kidding. But I think he's also a decent grappler, and his length will make it difficult for Sola to grapple if he does try. He normally doesn't, though. I honestly think McKee, I like him a lot at these dog odds. I really do. And I could see them closing if they haven't already. So give me Reese McKee to win that fight. Moving on, we got Pitbull versus Keita. This is probably everybody's. Well, actually, the next 3 fights are good, but a lot of people are looking for this one. They're excited for this one. So we got Patricio Pitbull versus Lucene Keita. Lucene is patient with a ton of power. He has 4 inches on Pitbull, just height, not reach. If you look it up, he actually has a 4-inch height advantage on Pitbull. He's lightning fast, like absolutely, like one of the fastest fighters I've ever seen on tape. But the lack of tape on his grappling does make me cautious. But what I did see is he has a decent understanding of BJJ from the back. I've seen him throw up arm bars, which create the space for him to scramble and get back to his feet. He also has he's an explosive athlete that can explode up from bottom and get back to his feet. Like I said earlier, getting up is an attitude. If you don't get settled on your back with an opponent on top of you, or right when you hit the mat, you start scrambling and have the attitude of I'm getting up. He's pretty good at that. He's able to explode, create a little space, and get back to his feet before the fight. His opponent's able to get him back to his back to the mat. He's very creative on his feet and manages distance very well with his footwork. He's very good at cutting off the cage. He's nice on the feet, like super nice on the feet. And he turns people into grapplers. Like people who are strikers, next thing you know, they're shooting doubles because they don't know where these punches are coming from. But we've seen Pitbull can grapple. We saw that against Dan Ige. He grappled that man. And he would be smart to take that approach in this one. I think if he doesn't, he'll be a bit of a sitting duck. He's a crafty vet, but I think his lack of movement, footwork, and hand speed will make him a sitting duck, like I just said. This isn't necessarily a fade the outside organization situation. Both guys are new to the UFC. I do think Keita, though, is the real deal. I know people are saying Pitbull will be able to duck under a strike and take Keita down, but I love Keita's urgency from bottom. He has nice scrambles and works to get up before he gets settled. Oh, so somebody's calling me. Hold on. He has nice scrambles and really works to get up before the fight gets settled. All right, and that's my 15 minutes. We're gonna continue, but I do like Keita there.